Welcome back to our show. Both Brooklyn kids, so I appreciate you coming back on the show.
My pleasure.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Could feel better.
Yeah, okay. Last night probably did not go as planned. Or...
No, it did not. We won one state. We are in the lead in the second state up for grabs last night, the state of Washington, with about 2/3 of the votes cast. But we lost some important states.
So where's your head at right now?
Well, my head is at that we have introduced an agenda, Jimmy, that I think the American people now support. And what poll after poll shows is that people support raising the minimum wage to a living wage. People now understand, especially with the coronavirus, that it is insane that we live in a nation in which 87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured and can't get to a doctor when they should. That we need a Medicare for all single-payer program. People got that. People understand that in this day and age, if you're going to make it into the middle class, you need to be able to go to college, regardless of your income, or go to a trade school. That we got to make public colleges and universities tuition-free. I think people understand that despite Trump's nonsense, climate change is a real existential threat to our planet. We got to take on the fossil fuel industry. We got to transform the country. On all of those issues, we have succeeded, I think, in bringing the American people into a progressive agenda. What we have also done, and I'm enormously proud of this, is in poll after poll and election after election, we win the overwhelming majority of young people. The young people of this country are on our side. Truth is, Biden does very, very well with older people, and they vote. Young people don't vote as much as I would like. But the future of this country believes in a progressive agenda which says that we need a government and an economy that works for all, not just the few, that we have to overcome the racism and the sexism and the homophobia and the xenophobia and religious bigotry that we're now experiencing. So on all of those issues, we have succeeded. Where we have not succeeded, frankly, is that most people today think that Joe is more electable than I am. So we see people saying, oh, we love you, Bernie, we love your ideas, but I'm voting for Joe because he's more electable.
Why? Why do you think he's coming across as more electable?
I mean, I think the fact that he was vice president for 8 years with Obama, and Barack Obama remains a very popular figure within the Democratic world. I think that's one thing. And I think the media has played a role in that as well. But what I honestly believe, and Joe is a friend of mine, what I honestly believe is that in order to defeat Trump, we need the largest voter turnout in the history of this country. Trump is not going to be easy to beat. And I think you need a campaign of energy and excitement. I think you're going to have to bring young people into the political process in a way we've not seen before. And I think you got to get through to working class people who in many cases have given up on the political process. They don't vote anymore. They think nobody cares about them. You know, they can't afford health care, can't afford child care, can't afford to send their kids to college. Is anybody worried about them? Well, we are. But they've kind of given up. And I think we are the campaign to bring those folks in.
You think we can do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, say it is Biden, do you think Biden can beat Trump?
I do. I mean, I think, you know, when you have a president who is a pathological liar, when you have a president who truly, apparently has never read the Constitution of the United States, who thinks he is above the law, who is a racist and a sexist and all of that stuff, I think even, you know, Republicans and moderates are going to say, you know what, we can't have 4 more years of this guy. So do I think Joe can beat him? I do. You know, between you and me, don't tell anybody.
Don't worry about it.
We're the stronger campaign to do that.
Yeah, you think you are, yeah.
I do.
What do you think about, are you getting pressure from the DNC for you to step down and drop out?
Well, there's been pressure from day one. You know, I think it's no great secret that there was a lot of nervousness at a time when you had people like Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg and Bloomberg kind of splitting the more moderate vote. So there was an effort to try to get rid of all of those folks.
Because there was also that stuff, Donald Trump has been saying for at least a month that the DNC is trying to squash the Sanders campaign. They're never going to let him be the nominee. Trust me, folks. Do you think the president is
Well,
right?
what amazes me, here we have a stock market that is collapsing. You have a coronavirus that is scaring the entire world. We have climate change, which is a threat to the human planet. And Donald Trump keeps worrying about the Democratic primary. So, Mr. President, if you watch anything other than Fox, I don't know that you do, why don't you do your job, pay attention to the needs of the American people? Don't worry so much about the Democratic primary.
I think he watches. I think he watches. All right, good. So you announced today that you're not stepping down, and you are going to the debate this Sunday.
Right.
And this Sunday, no audience.
No one is right.
How will that affect the way you do a debate? Was that going to be different for you?
It will be different. I mean, all of the other debates, I think this is like the 10th or the 11th debate, had audiences. But it's okay. What is most important, this is the first debate where there are only 2 people, which makes it a very different debate than when you have 8 people or 10 people or whatever.
Did you hate those things?
I
Those
did.
Giants debates?
It was like a food fight, you know, and everyone's yelling and screaming, and you can't get anything substantive. I think on this debate with 2 people in 2 hours, you know what? We are actually going to be able to discuss the issues impacting the families of America.
It's on CNN and Univision, so everyone tune in for that.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.